right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Easy Money, a sports betting show. Thursday, December 22nd, 2022. I didn't have a good very good night last night on my picks. I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by my dad Tony Gonzalez. I didn't have a good night on my picks last night. How'd you do?
I did pretty well. I was 6-3. Hit an NHL parlay, 3-0, 2-1 in my NBA. Was 1-2 in my college, and Notre Dame. I had money line win. They lost by 1 point, and then the other one, the team won but didn't cover the spread. So
I was 2-3 in the NBA. I had the Pacers right and the Nets right. And then college football, I had South Alabama -4.5. They won by 2 points, so that didn't cover. And in college basketball, I haven't checked all of them. I haven't checked all those yet, but one game, Arizona State was ranked. They got beat by San Francisco, so I know I lost that one. I think North Carolina beat Michigan, but I had to check to see if they covered the spread because that was I hadn't. So them 3 games I haven't checked yet, but like I said, so I went 2-3 in the NBA. Didn't do very good in my one college basketball game.
yeah, the Bucks killed me in the pro. Cleveland destroyed them.
Yeah.
But I got the Nets right over the Warriors. Nets destroyed the Warriors, and then the Pacers. I took the Pacers plus the 10, which I know you did too.
Yeah.
And
Hell,
Pacers won that game.
They tried to blow that damn game.
Yeah,
they let them come back and get within 5.
If they can ever get down, no better defense. And what do you think the problem is finishing games? Do you think not having a go-to guy?
Well, I think they have a go-to guy with Halliburton. I mean, he was the go-to guy last night. He made some big shots, but I think.
You think Halliburton is the go-to guy?
Yeah, I think defensively they go in. They're just a young team, and sometimes they go in a little bit of lapses defensively, and then some turnovers. Turnovers is what let Boston back in that game last night. We go down the court and turn the ball over 3-4 times in a row. And you can't do that against good teams.
Another thing I've noticed in the few games that I've watched is sometimes they just fall in love with the three. Yeah, they get that big lead because they're hitting their threes, and then they just keep trying to pump them in, and they miss, and let the team come back. So I'd like to see him try to go inside. You can always kick the ball back out and probably get a better 3 anyway than just coming down than forcing one.
Yeah, they do that sometimes. They do fall in love with that 3. I agree.
But like you said, they're a young team, and
you cut down on the turnovers. Like last night, because I watched most of that game. I watched a lot of the first half over at Buddies, and then I watched the rest of it here. And I thought they were going to lose that game in that fourth quarter. They'd go down there, they'd hit a big 3. Okay, they're going to stop the run. Well, then they'd go down, turn the ball over 3 times in a row, and let them come down and get open, wide open 3 or something. And it's like, but you're letting them right back in the game.
I know one thing with this young team: they're not afraid of anybody.
No,
they're not afraid of anybody. I think they got a lot of confidence, even with the rookie that they have that's playing. I think possibly rookie of the year ball.
Yeah, they have two rookies playing real well.
Well, yeah, the other one from Gonzaga. They've got 2 good rookies, and they've got the one guy that still hasn't really played a whole lot yet, has he? Duarte?
Yeah, he's been playing here
but he's not, back to.
He played. He hit some big shots last night there in the fourth quarter when they were going on that run. He hit like 3 or 4 big threes last night.
But they're bringing him in slowly. It's not where he probably will be by the end of the season if he stays healthy. So,
which Boston was missing Marcus Smart. I mean, they wasn't at full strength. To be fair, but the Pacers were up by at one point up by 25, 30 points. I mean, they really took control of that game in the first half, and then played a pretty good third quarter. They were still up by 15 at the end of the third quarter, but in that fourth quarter, they almost let them get. Like I said, they let them get within 5.
Their one of their Achilles heels this year has been the third quarter. Third quarter, they've had a lot of trouble.
In the first quarter, they start off real slow. Last night was the most points they had scored all season in the first quarter, and I think it was 44. But I mean, they've had first quarters where they haven't scored 20 points.
but there are a team that's got enough scoring, got enough scores.
If they could turnovers and defense, if they could cut down turnovers and tighten that defense up some, they'll be in a lot of games.
Yeah, and they could be a dangerous team in the playoffs.
Yeah. But we actually don't have a real big slate of games for tonight, which is kind of weird because going into this weekend, there's a bunch of games,
Yep.
Christmas and Christmas Eve and Christmas. But
yeah, back in the day, they didn't have a lot of games on Christmas and Christmas Eve, but that's all changed now.
Now, today on Thursday, there's not a real big slate of games. You have NFL Thursday Night Football, which is a big game.
Yeah.
You have Jacksonville Jaguars at the New York Jets. Jets are 2.5-point favorites at home, -130 on the money line. Jaguars are +110 on the money line. Over-unders at 36.5. This line has went back and forth. At one time, the Jaguars were favorites. Then one time the Jets were favorite. Then they announced Zach Wilson was going to start. Then the Jags became the favorites. And then now the Jets are the favorites again. So it went back and forth. I like Jacksonville in this game. And the main reason is I think Jacksonville's offense can put up more points than the Jets. The Jets do have a good defense. It's just that offense has not been performing well. And Jacksonville's been on a little bit of a roll here lately. Got that big comeback win against Dallas. Jacksonville has a prime chance right now to win their division there in the South, especially with you got Tennessee that's lost 4 games in a row, and then it was just announced that now they're not going to have their quarterback for the rest of the season. So who knows what they're going to look like the last 3 games. So, I mean, Jacksonville has a good opportunity here to try to win the AFC South, but they need to get a big win tonight against the Jets. And I don't know. I trust Trevor Lawrence a little more than I do the Jets quarterback.
The key for Jacksonville, and I think going forward, even if they do make the playoffs and everything, is the key for them is to run the football. Not that Trevor Lawrence is not a good quarterback, but it just makes things easier for him and get to his outside weapons if they run the football, open up play action. And they've got a real good running back, and that I think his name Enterin. Is pretty good young running back, and when he runs the football and they get up in that 90, 100 yards or more, it just makes him a lot easier to pass the ball. So I think Jacksonville's a dangerous team and really starting to play good football at the right time. A team that if they do make the playoffs could be a scary team to play. But the Jets are kind of going the other way. We'll see. The key for the Jets is they got to run the football also, and they also got to.
Yeah, they got to get that run game going. They haven't been able to get the run game going the last few games. It really hurt them losing Breece Hall.
Yeah.
And I really thought when they brought in the guy from Jacksonville, was it Robinson?
Yep, Robinson.
I really thought that he would help them at the running back position, but he hasn't really and been able to get going. So
they haven't stopped the run, and they got to run the football themselves. So that's the key for the Jets. I'm going with Jacksonville too. Let me ask you a fantasy football question because I got to make a decision. I've got Lawrence, and Lawrence has been pretty hot the last 2 or 3 games, but the Jets do have a good defense.
Yeah, and they got good secondary.
My other option is I've got Purdy from San Francisco, which they play the Redskins, who's got a pretty decent defense also.
They're going to have Chase Young back, first game back.
And then my other option is, which they've got him down to, they did have Lawrence projected to score the most points, but now they have Rodgers to score the most points. And
they're playing the Rams.
They're playing the Rams. Rams don't have a terrible defense, but they're not what they want.
Rams haven't been playing good at all.
Rams haven't been playing good. But the other side of this, Rodgers hasn't done anything for me all year long.
He had a pretty good game last week.
Well, I'm talking about fantasy points.
Yeah.
For fantasy points, he's not scored me over 15 or 16 points all year long.
Yeah.
And he's projected to get 16. I think Lawrence is projected now. At one point, he was projected to get 17. For some reason, that they like yesterday, they had a projected score 17. Now they project him down to 14. I don't know why. He's still questionable, but they say he's playing. He's been questionable.
Yeah.
But I'm going to keep an eye on it until game time decision to make sure. But who would you go with? Would you go with Lawrence? Would you go with Rodgers?
Oh, no, that's a tough one.
Look what Lawrence did to Dallas.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, it's a tough one. I'd probably go with Lawrence.
He's been the hot guy.
But you know how it works. The one you don't choose is the one that blows up usually.
Well, last week I made two choices and they both worked out great for me. But usually you're right. Usually the one you
I'm
go
glad you
with.
mentioned that because I got to look at my fantasy teams. I'm not. I didn't do. I'm out of the playoffs in our league. It's down
In
to
our
just you
league,
guys.
yeah.
But I got playoffs in a couple other leagues.
Yep,
One
yep.
league I'm in first. The other league I was in like fifth or sixth. Out in that 20 team league.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's way too many teams. Oh man, it's so hard to try to find players. You get the player. You get the players you don't even know. You don't even know who the hell they are.
Who they are, yeah.
But no, that's all the NFL we got. Is tonight. Got a bunch of games on Saturday and like 3 games on Sunday. I think the Saturday slate of games is a lot better than Christmas Day games.
Oh yeah.
The Christmas Day slate of games
I don't even
isn't
remember
really
what,
very
I
good.
don't even remember what they are.
Uh, Let me find it real quick. It's right. You have the Green Bay Packers at the Miami Dolphins at 1 o'clock on Christmas Day on Sunday. Then you have the Broncos and the Rams,
Yeah, I don't care anything about that.
and then you have the Buccaneers and the Cardinals
Yeah,
Sunday night. So Sunday, the 3 games aren't real great.
I'm surprised they didn't
Flex it.
change that Green Bay Miami game up into that game
Yeah,
because both those teams are still
it's still
in the,
yeah.
in the
Even though
hunt.
Green Bay barely, but yeah,
I guess
that's the only
Arizona.
game. That's the only game that really intrigues me on Sunday. Now Saturday, you got the Cowboys and Eagles, which Jalen Hurts isn't playing. You got the 49ers and Commanders as 2 teams that are still, you know what I mean, are still in it.
You know,
Ravens and Falcons, Seahawks and Chiefs.
everybody talks about well, if Dallas beats the Eagles, well, their backup's playing. Well, when the Eagles beat Dallas, Dallas's backup
Yeah,
was
nobody.
playing.
Yeah,
So I mean,
you got Lions and Panthers on Saturday. So I mean, Saturday's a pretty good slate of games. Vikings and Giants. But the Sunday games just don't.
what game appeals to you that you want to watch on Sunday? What time are the games? Like
On
1, 4,
Sunday,
1, 3, 4, 5.
yeah, you have the 1 o'clock game. Let's see, a 1 o'clock game, which is Packers and Dolphins.
I mean, on Saturday. I'm talking
Oh, on
about
Saturday.
Saturday. What game? What game are we going
There's
to
like
watch Saturday?
There's like 9 games on
Yeah.
Saturday.
But I'm talking like probably some at 1, some at 4,
Yeah.
and a late game.
At 1, you have the Giants and the Vikings. That game, I think that game could be a good game. That's at 1 o'clock on Saturday.
Dallas is probably the 4 o'clock game.
And Bengals and Patriots play at 1. You have the Lions and the Panthers, Bills and the Bears, Seahawks and Chiefs. That could be decent. Them are all 1. 4 o'clock, you have the Commanders and 49ers. I'm interested in that one.
Yeah.
Eagles and Cowboys are at 4:30.
Both those games.
And then Saturday night, you have the Raiders at the Steelers. You'd have thought they'd have flexed some of these games and have better games at night.
Yeah. I don't think they have the option on Saturday. I think the
Okay.
only option
might
is Sunday.
And then Monday night, Chargers and Colts with the Colts' new quarterback, Nick Foles. I still don't understand why.
Not this late in the season.
No, if you were going to go with Nick Foles, you should have done that when you benched Ryan the first time.
Yeah, that would have made more sense.
It made a hell of a lot more sense than what we're doing now. But I don't know.
I don't think changing the quarterback is going to make any difference. That's why I'm saying to play the other guy, the young guy, and to see what he can do.
I think for some reason, I think they've decided that he's not the guy.
He's not the guy.
I mean, they've had to. To me, they've had to have for.
I don't know how
for them to be playing Foles.
I don't know how they seen that in two games.
Saturday says he feels like Foles gives them the best chance to win. And I mean, I understand from his point, he's trying to win games because he's trying to. If he don't get the Colts job, he wants to try to get a coaching job somewhere. So I understand, but
okay. So let me ask you this: let's say they go out there and play those plays and they shit the bed. Then do we see Eckler the next 2 games?
I hope so. I hope so. I thought we'd see Ellinger the last couple games, but I don't know. NBA tonight only have a couple games. Not a real big or just a few games. Not a real big slate of NBA games tonight. You have the Spurs at the Pelicans. Pelicans are 8.5 point favorites. minus 375 on the money line. Spurs are plus 300 on the money line. Over unders 228. Uh, I like the Pelicans in this game. 8.5 is a lot of points, so it kind of scares me a little bit. But I like this Pelicans team. I mean, hell, they're one of the best teams in the West right now. And then Wizards at the Jazz. Jazz are 6.5 point favorites. Minus 245 on the money line. Wizards are plus 200 on the money line. Over unders at 230. I like the Utah Jazz at home at the minus 6.5 in that game. The Wizards have not been playing good basketball at all.
Yeah, I got a parlay for the NBA. I got the Spurs at the Pelicans. I took the Pelicans minus 8.5. Then I got the Wizards at the Jazz. I took the Jazz minus 6.5, and then I took the over in that too. I think it's over 230, and I took the over in that. So that's my parlay for the NBA.
And NBA, that's all the NBA games that you have tonight is just those two. And then tomorrow on Friday, you got a full slate of games, and then there's no games on Christmas Eve, which is kind of weird to me. But then there's a full slate of games on Christmas. There's like one, two, three, four. There's 5 games on Christmas Day.
And if I remember correctly, all of them were televised.
Yes.
I think like ESPN and ABC, they do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's some good. I mean, there's some decent games.
Yep.
I mean, on Sunday you got 76ers and Knicks. Both them teams are pretty good. Lakers and Mavs. People watch it because it's the Lakers.
Yep.
Bucks and Celtics. Grizzlies and Warriors, and then Suns and Nuggets. If the Warriors wasn't hurt, I mean, that's pretty good slate of games.
Yep.
Really. I'll be watching football probably, but because the Pacers don't play. Pacers play Friday night, 8 o'clock against the Heat. Let's see, college basketball for tonight. I had a few games I like. I'm gonna go with Kansas minus 21.5 at home against Harvard. And then I like Butler on the road at Creighton. I like Butler at the plus 8.5. I like Illinois on the road at Missouri minus 6.5. And I like BYU at home minus 13.5 against Weber State. That's going to be my college picks, college basketball picks for tonight.
Yeah, I got a college basketball parlay. I did a little something different. I went all over and unders. I really didn't like any of the spreads. Mine is George Washington at Washington State. I took under 136.5. I took the Illinois and Missouri game over 153.5. I took Harvard at Kansas over 138.5. And then I also have an NHL, which I had to change right before it came in because I forgot about the Flyer game being at 2:00. I was going to pick that game, but it started at 2. So I had to change. So I did the Winnipeg Jets at the Boston Bruins. I'll take the Bruins win money line. I got the Carolina Hurricanes at the Pittsburgh Penguins. I'll take the Penguins to win money line. And I've got the Washington Capitals at the Ottawa Senators. I'll take the Capitals win money line. And I've hit a couple of parlays this week. So I've hit a NBA and a hockey one. So maybe I can hit another one today.
And then in college football tonight, I have one game. Baylor at Air Force. I forget what the name of the bowl game is, but Baylor's a 3.5 point favorite, minus 162 on the money line. Air Force is plus 134 on the money line. Over unders at 43.5. I like Air Force at the plus 3.5. I think it's going to be a real close game.
Yeah, well, I've seen Baylor play, and they played TCU pretty tough, so I figured Baylor might be a little bit too much for them.
Baylor's 2-3 over their last 5. Air Force is 4-1, and Air Force has a real good running game, so I think maybe they'll be able to control that clock. So
well, I think Baylor,
keep it close.
Baylor plays a tougher schedule, but like you said, Air Force.
That running back has like 16 touchdowns. So I think it'll be a real close game. Getting that hook getting that 3.5 is kind of leaning me toward them.
I've seen where that TCU quarterback is coming out.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's coming out. What do you think? Yeah,
I like him. I like his leadership, and he showed me a lot that last game against Washington State. I mean, that dude, he looked like he's going to die out there in the field.
He looked bad, and I tell you another guy, which I've already said I like, but he showed me a lot in that terms too. even other than his athletic ability and other stuff, is the quarterback from USC because he
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
hobbled. I think USC wins that game if he don't get hurt.
Him and Dugan both showed some guts in them conference championship games. I think Dugan will probably go. I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't be mad if the Colts took him like in the second round. But because there's nobody in the first round though that I really trust.
I agree, but here's my problem with that.
We have a guy that we drafted in second, third round.
Ellinger. Do you think that Dugan's a lot better than Ellinger? Let's compare him coming out the same time.
No, I mean,
if you're looking at their careers in college.
No.
So I mean, and my thing is Ellinger really ain't got the opportunity. That's my only. If they take, I'm not going to be mad if they take him.
No, I understand what you're saying, but if they're going to take a quarterback in the draft, I hope they wait till second or third round and do like that hooker that's coming off an injury, or like Dugan, somebody like that.
Right now, I think their best move is, especially if they keep losing and if they end up with a top 5 draft pick, I don't think there's unless there's just an offensive lineman that's just like Nelson type that they think is really going to be a game changer. I think you move back and load up picks and maybe try to get.
There is a couple offensive linemen that are pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not saying there's not. I'm just saying that somebody just really bows you over at that 5th or 6th pick that you're going to have. Then I would move back and maybe try to get a couple offensive linemen because they're going to take more than one offensive lineman to fix that offensive line. So, and they need another receiver too. And maybe you can get that also.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do.
Because if there's somebody up there that really does cover the quarterback and you move up into that top 5 position, somebody might give you their first round, their second round, and you can load up picks.
I'm wondering if they're not going to maybe go after Garoppolo.
Well, what the issue there is
we don't really have weapons, right?
Well, let me ask you. Say you bring in Garoppolo. Who's the coach that you're going to need? I mean,
Jim Harbaugh.
Yes, he is. Just because he's been around him, but he's on the defensive side. What about somebody like D'Amico Ryans? Just because he's been around the system. I mean, I know he's the defensive guy, but he would know what the system is and what offensive coordinator maybe try to get.
That's a good point. I think D'Amico Ryans.
What about Jim Caldwell as the offensive coordinator for a guy like that?
I think that would work too. I'm hoping it's one of those 3 guys that they hire as coach. Personally, I like all 3 of them guys.
Well, there's no doubt.
I know Ryans hasn't been a head coach before, so that kind of worries me a little bit. But I really like what he's done with that defense and what he's been able to do there in San Francisco. But I mean, we've seen Caldwell be successful as a coach.
Well, I think we got defensive pieces there that Ryan could come in.
Oh yeah,
and a lot of people thinks that more likely Ryan would keep Bradley. That's been the rumor. That's speculation. Nobody knows. Yeah. But they think the similar
schemes
are similar.
So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. I'll go through my picks real quick one more time. Football tonight, NFL tonight. I like the Jacksonville Jaguars on the money line, getting that plus money. I think it's good value. NBA Pelicans -8.5 at home against the Spurs, and Jazz -6.5 at home against the Wizards. College basketball, Kansas at home against Harvard at -21.5. Butler at +8.5 against Creighton. Illinois on the road at -6.5 against Missouri. And I like BYU -13.5 at home against Weber State. And then college football tonight, I'm going to go with Air Force at the +3.5 against Baylor.
I'll give mine. I like Jacksonville also, money line win at the Jets. NBA, I've got the Spurs at the Pelicans -8.5. I got the Wizards at the Jazz. I'll take the Jazz -6.5. Also in that game, I'll take over 230. My NHL picks, I got the Winnipeg Jets at the Boston Bruins. I got the Boston Bruins winning money line. I got the Carolina Hurricanes at the Pittsburgh Penguins. I'll take the Penguins to win money line. I got the Washington Capitals at the Ottawa Senators. I got the Capitals to win money line. And my college basketball parlay is George Washington and Washington State under 136.5. Illinois at Missouri over 153.5. And Harvard at Kansas over 138.5.
All right. I want to thank everybody for joining us today for Easy Money, a sports betting show. Please hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Gonzo Sports Room. Like and follow on Facebook and Twitch as well at Gonzo Sports Room. Also, like and follow at the All Sports All Plays Network. Got a lot of stuff going on over there as well. This is actually this is our last show for today. I will be on Unscripted later tonight. You can find that on Unscripted at Facebook or on the All Sports All Plays Network as well. Well, sometimes it's on the Gonzo Sports Room Network as well, but I don't know what all networks will be on tonight because of technical difficulties. But then we'll be back tomorrow with our regular full slate of shows, and then we'll be off until Monday. But tomorrow we'll have Easy Money, a sports betting. We'll have the afternoon blitz, of course. Easy Money, a sports betting show right around 3:30. Got horseshoe talk at 6. We'll talk about the Colts matchup against the Chargers on Monday night, which we'll be doing. We'll watch along for that Monday night, and then also have Gonzo and the Judge tomorrow night. If you missed Gonzo and the Judge last night, go check it out. I thought we had a great episode last night. A guy named Chris Jose LeBron. Has a network and a podcast called Off the Ball. Real knowledgeable, especially in New York stuff and then with basketball. I thought it was a great conversation last night talking with him and the Judge. So go check that out. But we appreciate everybody joining us, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode of Easy Money.